Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of not Tuesday, but now Thursday, just for this week, NLBC News. The best news segment, where we bring you all the stories from technology, gaming, YouTube, and virtual YouTubing and science, but butcher all the words. We have some very exciting news stories today, and as you can see here, our first one has to do with doggos. So, getting right into it today with science. Dogs and optical illusions. What do the goodest boys and girls really see? A paper published back in 2016 by the researchers at La Trobe University in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, asked a question the world has been asking for decades. Can dogs recognize optical illusions? Well, the answer to that question is a little more complex than you might think. Using a two-choice simultaneous discrimination paradigm, the researchers trained 8 dogs to indicate which of the presented circles appeared the largest when shown an optical illusion. The two illusions in question were the Emingus-Tickner illusion and the Delboeuf illusion. In the results, the researchers found that in the Tickner illusion, the susceptibility was reversed for the dogs compared to humans. Dogs consistently showed that the circle in which humans on average perceived to be smaller, they perceived to be bigger, and the same behavior applied to the circle which humans viewed as larger. The researchers concluded that this appeared to reflect higher order conceptual processing in dogs that cannot be explained by low-level visual processing tests. However, though, one thing the researchers probably did not take into account is, what do dogs actually see? We at the laboratory did want to bring light to this question, as it's very important. What if the dogs see the world as, fire and lightning, or bacon and cats, We don't know. Do all dogs see all humans as dressed up in mailman costumes? And is every object bacon and steak to them? Is every ball a chew toy, or are all chew toy balls? Well, we have discovered the answer to these questions, and after some intense research and insight from local dogs, we know exactly what dogs see when they look at these illusions. Let us take a look. This first one is the Tickner illusion. So, on the right, you can see what we as humans see. But on the left, you can see what the dogs see. Now, if I had to choose, I would take the one small bacon with the 6 big bacons over the one big bacon with a bunch of small bacons. I mean, it's just simple quantity, Why would you not take the one on the left? There's much more bacon there. I mean, just look at it. Crispy and delicious. The next one is a Delboeuf illusion. And on the right is what humans see, and on the left is what dogs see. Now, in the middle of that illusion is a frisbee, is what that is. And, at first glance, they look exactly the same. How could the dog see any difference? Well, applying a very advanced photographic technique and negativing the center, applying a negative effect to the center of the frisbee, we can see this. The one on the left obviously reads goodest boy, and the one on the right obviously reads baddest boy. And we all know that dogs are the goodest boys and girls. So obviously you'd pick the left one. I feel like the researchers should have taken this into effect. This is very important. And I think it's a very important thing that they need to reconsider in the future when looking at more of these tests. Because we just don't know what dogs really see. but now we do. They see bacon and frisbees, and can apparently read the English language. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. You guys didn't know your dogs could read. So, moving on to our next story. This one is in technology. Sorry about that pause there, I had to drink some water. This next one is in technology. Researchers detect radio bursts from an exoplanet. Researchers are worried about what the radio burst might be carrying. On December 16th of 2020, 11 scientists published a paper in the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics, which detailed an observed radio wave burst they had received from a planet outside of our solar system. The signal came from the Tau Boötes, it's Boötes system, which contains a binary star and an exoplanet. One of the authors stated in the press release, "We present one of the first hints of detecting an exoplanet in the radio realm." Why is this important, you might ask? Well, if this radio emission is confirmed through follow-up observations, it could give new insights on how to examine alien worlds from tens of light years away. Now, it is important to clarify that this radio emission was not sent by the planet, in a sense that some society or creature sent this, but in the fact that the radio signature from the planet's magnetic field itself was observed by the low-frequency array in the Netherlands. Despite this, though, we here at the laboratory know that planets are living creatures, and that the answer to the age-old question, are we alone in the universe, is no. Everyone else out there is looking for aliens with double mouths or giant bugs that eat lava and babies for breakfast. But did they ever think the planets themselves are living? I bet you they didn't. And here at the laboratory, we received this frequency from the Boötes system as well, and this is what we discovered hidden between the waveforms. Let us take a listen.
Have you ever had a dream that you had?
Now, what in the world that means, I have no freaking idea. I have no idea. We have sent this message out to hundreds of, decoders across the world, and no one... no one understands what it means. But it is a curious, message nonetheless. Could it spell our demise? Maybe. Probably. We're all going to die anyways. Alright, so moving on to our next story. This one is in gaming. Oh, head up there. So, many of you, if you haven't heard by this time, you're either dead, live in some place with no internet, or live under a rock. This is about the PS5, but a very particular PS5. Expensive food, Caviar, reportedly making the most expensive PS5 ever, with a collective of 20 kilos of gold included on the console. If you think scalpers are insane, asking for consumers to pay $5,000 for a basic PS5, well, you are not ready for this. One of the most expensive foods in the world, Caviar, is now making the most expensive PS5 in the world. You may be thinking, oh, maybe it got upgraded graphics and a faster CPU, or maybe a lot more storage space than the original, or maybe even it comes with a special feature or something. Well, you're wrong. This PS5 functions just as all the others do. However, this one is covered in 20 kilos of 18 karat gold. Now that may sound crazy as it is, but it gets even better. The two included DualShock 5 controllers have a gold-plated touchpad that make it incredibly hard to touch anything. It's like touching gravel. And, for the cherry on top, the rest of the controller is made out of black crocodile leather. Sounds insane, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it is. But let's take a look at the top dollar here. So, the official price, as per Caviar's website, is not published, and after trying to request a price, it asked me to purchase it, and I was very concerned. So I didn't follow any further, but with a little bit of math, we can calculate the expected price. This might get a little bit mathy, but we can take this step by step. If we take into consideration of the market value of a kilo of pure gold, which was reported on goldprice.org to be $61,600 as of January 6, 2021 at 16:45 New York time. The value of 20 kilos of gold themselves would come up to a Krispy Kreme value of $1.232 million. That already sounds like a lot of money, but it doesn't stop there. What about the cost of the black crocodile leather? So, we have $1.23 million right now. Keep that in your head. Well, surprisingly, the leather is a drop in the bucket compared to the cost of the gold. After some research, we were not able to find an exact price on crocodile leather in bulk, but we can use some products that have been made of genuine crocodile leather of an approximate size. Looking at Bruciago, a place that sells accessories made of crocodile leather, sells a small shoulder bag for $850. So we will add that total, to which comes to about $1.233 million US dollars. Originally it was 1.232. Not a huge increase by any means. So let's take into the account the cost of the PS5, which is about $500 US dollars, assuming it's the non-digital version. That brings the total to about 1.234 million US dollars. However, here comes the next increase in price, because we all know that companies want to make a profit. So, to do this, the companies usually have a markup percentage. And so we're going to take into account that. So, there is no exact average market percentage, but after doing some research, it seems that a rough estimate for across the board is most companies use a 50% markup. But the end value is not as easy as multiplying the price of the raw goods times the markup. We need to use a short equation to calculate the final selling price. So our final selling price right now, before this, is 1.234 million US dollars. So keep that in mind. And here's the equation. The selling price equals the cost of the item divided by 100 minus the desired markup percentage, times 100. So, plugging in our numbers, we do 1.234 million cost of item, then 100 minus the 50% markup, and then times 100, we get a final price of 2.466 million US dollars. Suck it, scalpers. Now keep in mind that this estimation is very rough, and the final price could vary widely depending on the markup percentage, the manufacturer selects, the value of gold, that it was taken out when the gold was bought, the price of the leather, all of these things, but we can be pretty sure it will cost millions of dollars, at least over 2 million. So if you guys are looking to get the most expensive PS5 ever, you can buy the only one, because Caviar, which is a Russian-made manufacturer, makes really fancy things, but there's only one of them in the entire world. So, as far as I understand at least, it seems to be that this one will be the only one. So if you want to get your hands on that, you better start saving. Alright. Heading into our last our last story for today. Some of you might know my wonderful senpai, DevitheDeveloper. Developer delivers on Christmas charity promise as Bald Devi was seen for the first time on Twitch. Scientists express concern that the world has gone too far. Many of you will remember the Live Dreams Child Play charity around Christmas time that occurred, but some of you may not remember that DevitheDeveloper made a very important promise to the fans in if the charity reached a $500 donation goal. As the laboratory reported last week, the charity's donation did reach $500. And what was that promise, you may ask? Bald Devi. Now, for those of you that may not know what Devi Senpai looks like, this is what she looks like. This is her normally. And now, let's take a look at what Bald Devi looks like. Now, I must warn you though, before I show you this, that any children under the age of 18 should avert their eyes, as this cannot be unseen. For those of you over 18 with sensitivity to seeing baldness, please avert your eyes as well. Okay, with that done, let us watch. Well, that was, something. Well, it was indeed for a good cause. Many ask, was this the moment the world took everything too far? Many scientists may think so, but it is not stopping them from taking on the task of calculating the curvature of Bald Devi's head, and deciding if it can fit a wild raccoon on top of it, or if it resembles the perfect sphere. Will we ever see Bald Devi again? Is this the hero we never wanted but needed all along? Well, probably no, but only time will tell. So, that was our last news story for today. Thank you everyone for joining me for another exciting episode of the NLBC News. Next week, we will be back on Tuesday with another round of exciting stories. But for today, that is it for me, and I will see you guys in a bit.